Hey guys, welcome back to Seize the Veg. I'm Michael.
And I'm Marcy. And today I'm excited to share. Michael is going to be doing most of the cooking today, and he's going to be making sweet potato barbecue. So
It's a recipe that we discovered, or I discovered, I should say, on Pinterest actually, just scrolling through whenever we first came across or started with our whole food plant based journey. Um, we're from the South, so barbecue was a very big part of our life, and eating at the buffets and all that good stuff really wasn't great for our health, but I really wanted to be able to substitute that barbecue flavor. So this was a very good alternative and a good substitution for the pulled pork or the shredded beef that I would typically have whenever I went to a barbecue restaurant.
And I will say, this is one of the recipes when we first got started that had him so excited. He made a lot and he told a lot of people about. The good thing about this is we have discovered, and you may be discovering yourself, that it's more the flavors, the seasoning, the spices, and all of that is what you really enjoy with any of the meat products, when you're grilling or barbecuing. And we found that sweet potatoes, so far for us, have the best consistency to hold up to cooking like this and adding the sauces and the spices that make this so delicious. So, you ready to get started?
With that, let's go ahead and get it going. All right, so our first ingredient in the recipe is an onion. I've already taken a small to medium Vadea sweet onion and peeled it, washed it, make sure it's good and clean. Then we're going to take it, cut it in half, and then we'll slice it into small sections so that we get a little bit of a stringiness to it that's going to help out with some of the texture in the actual barbecue itself. Okay, so now that we've got our onions cut and sliced, we're going to take it over to our preheated nonstick pan and put them in. We typically want to put the heat on medium so that you're not burning your oil. So you'll be able to hear the sizzle. So to our onions, we're going to add a teaspoon of sea salt or whatever type of salt you have in your kitchen. Our next ingredient is going to be granulated garlic powder. I'm going to do 2 teaspoons of that because we like to have a little bit more garlic flavor. And at the end, these spices can be adjusted as needed. And then we do fresh ground pepper. You can see this comes from Trader Joe's, comes in its own little grinding. Typically, I'll do about 20 to 25 turns of the pepper itself. It's got a nice little cap on there to keep it from coming out. And then we just put that in, sprinkle it in, and then we stir it all around. So we did have just a little bit of oil in the bottom of the pan to keep it from sticking, but what our goal here is to sweat the onions and start bringing out the natural moisture that's in the onions themselves in order to cook with their own flavor. And I also add just a little bit of water just to keep it from sticking and to help to start the onions in their sweating process.
And how long will you let this go?
So we're going to allow this to cook until they're clear, till they start turning a little bit translucent. It's going to be about 5 minutes as they go through the cooking process. Okay, for this recipe, we're using 2 medium sweet potatoes. We like to, we peel them first with just a regular standard potato peeler. and then we'll take them and shred them with a repurposed cheese grater, since we no longer eat cheese. But we use the large openings in order to get the size and the consistency of the potatoes we want for the barbecue process. As far as the potatoes are concerned, I do like the longer, slender ones because they make it a little bit easier to handle when you're doing the grating process. That way you're not slipping and cutting yourself. You do have to be very careful with that. I recommend a glove if you have one. If not, just be super careful. As you can see, we've already pre-grated 2 potatoes. They are nice and good texture to them, and beautiful orange color that's gonna make a good, nutritious barbecue base.
So let's check them out.
So now we're gonna go over here and check on the onions. As you can see, with the lid on, it's starting to sweat. We've got some steaming process going with the onions, and man, oh, that smells good. That is gonna be just right for our barbecue. We'll stir that around. And as you can tell, they're starting to become somewhat translucent, which is what we're looking for in the process of cooking these. So we're going to add the sweet potato barbecue, the shredded sweet potato on top of it now. We'll make sure we get all the goodie out of there. Waste not, want not. So we've got our sweet potatoes in there. Get that good and stirred around. Get the potatoes and the onions mixed together. And then what we'll want to do, once we get the potatoes and the onions together, I like to create a little hole in the middle of it, and then add about a 1/4 cup of water, and then put the lid on in order for
Why do you put the
potatoes to start. I like to put the hole in the middle because it allows the water to work from the center out, where the hottest part of the eye is. So that way it'll start steaming, and then you don't get a burn spot or any potential for sticking in the middle of the pan. Okay, so while our potatoes are starting to steam, we're actually going to make up a little bit of a coleslaw to put on top of the barbecue sandwich itself. So I like to start out with just a little bit of pickle juice, just a splash, just to get the cabbage softening up a little bit with the vinegar from the pickles. And then I like to take some barbecue sauce, which we are today going to be using the Red Duck Sweet Mustard Peppercorn Barbecue Sauce. We got this from Whole Foods. Be it from South Carolina, mustard style barbecue is our favorite. So we're using a mustard base. Feel free to use whatever flavor barbecue sauce is preferred by you and your family. So we just sprinkle or drizzle enough on there to wet out the slaw itself and get the cabbage to absorb a little bit of the flavors from the barbecue sauce. So we'll get that mixed around, and we're going to set that to the side to continue letting the flavors incorporate into the cabbage itself. All right, so it's been about 5 minutes. As you can see from the top of the pan itself, we're starting to get the steaming process going with the potatoes. So what we want to do at this point, we're going to open it up. You want to open it and turn the lid to allow the moisture to go back into the pan. Set the lid off to the side. You can see we're starting to get a little bit of a steaming of the potatoes themselves. Want to mix those around. You can see a little bit of sticking is starting to happen, so we're going to want to add a little extra water to it in order to continue the steaming process. And you can see we still have some raw potatoes that are still in the mix. So we're not quite ready to add the barbecue yet whenever we're seeing raw potatoes. So we're going to do the same process, make that hole in the center of them, add another 1/8 of a cup, 1/4 cup of water, and then cover it up and let it continue to steam. Okay, so it's been about another 5 minutes roughly, and our potatoes have been steaming, getting some nice moisture in there. Remember, turn that lid up so it doesn't go all over your counter. And you can see we're getting a little bit of sticking, but nothing that's outstanding. And all of the potatoes are nice and bright orange color as opposed to the lighter orange of the raw potato itself. So
what are you looking for to know when it's ready?
So now you can see all of the potatoes themselves have that darker orange finish to them, and the onions are translucent. So now we're ready to add our barbecue sauces and plate this thing up and be ready to eat. So again, we're using the Red Duck sweet mustard peppercorn barbecue sauce. We're going to just drizzle it over the top. We got 2 potatoes in here, so it's going to take a little bit to get them nice and coated with the barbecue sauce. Depending on how wet you like your barbecue, you may want to add more.
Should you start with a little though to make sure?
Definitely start with a little so that you can coat the potatoes and start getting that caramelization of the barbecue sauce.
You don't want it to turn into mashed potatoes.
Yes. So we're trying to keep that texture of the potato without turning into a mashed potato. Yes, for sure. Oh, and the smell of the barbecue sauce as it's starting to heat up is just making my mouth water as we're sitting here cooking it. So we like a little bit of a zing as well. So I bought a bottle of Ghost Chili barbecue sauce from Trader Joe's.
A little goes a long way, right?
A little goes a long way. This stuff has some serious heat to it. We got a little separation, so I'm going to shake that around. And then we're going to add just a few drops to spice in, or to add some spice to the barbecue, and a little bit of heat. So again, a little goes a very long way with this stuff, so you have to be careful.
You can always add more.
Yes, you cannot take away. Excuse me for that. So we're going to let this cook no more than 5 minutes because the potatoes are already starting to get a little bit of mush to them, but we don't want to lose that texture. And we're going to get that caramelization out of there. You also don't want to cover it up because we do want the moisture from the onions and the water that we added to evaporate a little bit so that it doesn't make your bread soggy. Okay, so really what we're looking to do is just heat the barbecue sauce up enough to heat it through. Now, once it's heated through, at this point, you're ready to serve it. We turn off the heat and let the heat carry over and continue to warm the barbecue sauce so that it's just not cold whenever you put it on your bread. So we've got a burger bun here that we've got, a whole wheat burger bun. We're going to put a scoop, nice heaping scoop of the barbecue on top of it. Oh, it smells wonderful.
That is a heaping scoop.
Then what we're going to do is take it over here, our coleslaw that we used. By the way, I didn't mention, we just purchased the package of coleslaw from Publix, our local grocery store. It's already shredded. Makes life a little easier on that part. So you can see our coleslaw has softened a little bit. All right, so we're going to put a scoop of the coleslaw on top of the barbecue itself. Have a nice contrast of colors there. And then, as with any good barbecue sandwich, you're going to want to add some pickles to it.
Bread and butter?
So we're doing bread and butter, which is our preferred flavor of pickles. I like to put 4 on my sandwich in order to spread the flavors out. And voila! Now we are ready to serve and eat our barbecue sandwich.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this episode of Seize the Veg, and thank you, Michael, for sharing sweet potato barbecue. He likes to say if he can make it, anyone can make it. Doesn't spend a whole lot of time in the kitchen, loves the grill, but this is definitely one of the things he enjoys making. You can see
we've got it plated here with a little side of broccoli. Since it is sweet potatoes.
Not a good time to do French fries or tater tots with your barbecue sandwich, but yeah, something like this. Air fried green beans, any other type of vegetable makes it beautiful and nutritious. Something that you can have plenty of. I will say this is something, as you can see, it makes a pretty good bed, even with just the 2 potatoes. It reheats very well, makes for great leftovers. And we've made sliders with it. We've used it in a wrap.
We put it on top of salads as a salad topping.
It's actually
a delicious addition to salad.
Yeah, it's really good. We've done it with black beans and corn, adding in there with the salad like he's talking. So endless possibilities. Make it your own. Barbecue is very personal for most people. Wherever you are in the country or the world, just enjoy it. But know that the sweet potato holds up really well cooking like this, as he showed you. You use a nonstick pan. We made the mistake before of using just a regular stainless steel.
It will stick. The starches in the potato will definitely stick on you if you don't use a nonstick pan.
Yes. So, and we used very little oil because we were using a cast iron, which you do need to have some amount of oil for that, but very minimal oil. So you can feel good about eating this. Very healthy and nutritious and vegan. So hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, please comment below. And also if you decide to make this, we'd love to hear your feedback on how it went. And please subscribe. So we're working hard to get better, and we'll see you soon.
Seize the veg, everybody. Have a great day.